Sandi Anderson from Winnipeg goes against Tracy Pardy from Corner Brook, Newfoundland. We talked about how difficult it is, and I mean, it's the same way in curling as well. I found over the years, that there are communities where sometimes it is as difficult, maybe more difficult to just get out of your zone or your city. More difficult to win the national championship. The quality is that good.
In Winnipeg's case, a credit to all the Youth Bowling Council coaches and Dylas Turner in particular. She's brought up a whole generation after generation of great women bowlers in that town. And it's kind of a legacy. The Sandi Andersons and the Chris Monchaks leave that legacy for all the young bowlers to emulate.
And Sandi opens with a 15.
There's that sticky approach we saw last week a little bit. Tracy just about down on her knees. Punch the head pin. Of course, as soon as you stick, it throws off everything. Timing and release. Now better slide that time. Right through the middle.
And so an 8 count to open for Tracy Pardy. Tentative by both Anderson and Pardy.
Tracy on the second and third balls, particularly after sticking. See how she reacts on the left-hand lane. Better slide, little movement on the ball. Leaves herself a left corner. A little bit of a hook, so the ball should move from right to left on the lane.
Hold on.
Too much movement.
No, it came out of the channel. So the rack will have to be reset because the machine thinks it was knocked down, so they'll have to do a re-rack.
Yeah, and the rule is once the ball enters the channel, it can't knock any pins down.
Some of us think that that's a good thing, actually, that you can get that.
And on the other side, again, the middle of the lane, maybe a little bit more oil than they're used to, so the ball skids further on them.
So 2 opens for Tracy Pardy to start this first game, week 3, women's 5-pin, the Canadian Bowling Championships.
Oh, nice looking shot that time. Difference there. Sandi Anderson got it out on the lane. Good trajectory, no bounce to it.
Sandi Anderson was the runner-up a year ago against Tracy Pardy, who lost in the preliminary round. So both these ladies making their second straight appearance.
A good lift and rotation on that one again. A little bit of a backup. Catches the right-hand pocket, but a little bit thick. Left corner pin.
Deadly. Very nicely done by Sandi Anderson. First time we saw Sandi on TSN was back in the 1989 '90 season of the Pins game. Made it to the quarterfinals that year, has gone on to really dominate women's 5-pin play, or be one of the more dominant players in Winnipeg.
Both in singles and team events. Sandi with a huge history. Ladies team gold medalist 5 times in Canadian 5-pin play, and mixed team gold in 2007. And won a national singles title back in 1991.
Tracy wasn't sure if she was going to be able to make it to this year's championship. It was just a matter of weeks ago that she had her first daughter, Abigail. So we congratulate Tracy and husband Craig. So spares up for both, but it is Sandi Anderson with an early lead.
A little bit of a curve again, left hand pocket going away. She leaves the left corner pin. Second in a row on lane 33. Good release. Ball just starts to turn over. Both the 3-pin and the bowling ball went on the inside of that corner pin.
And again, that difficulty with that corner. All right, you should be aware of your surroundings. She must realize she's struggling there. So the minute she comes over that left lane, should she not make the adjustment?
Well, you take the left corner. I mean, you're hitting the head pin, and that's a good thing. The difference between a strike and a corner pin can sometimes be very, very minor. So you don't want to make too many changes when you're still hitting the pocket. It's when you start to punch that you make the big changes. Yeah. Second head pin for Sandi Anderson in this match.
Always nice to see Jim, Sandi's husband. And it's true what they say about this sport or any other. There's always the people who are the supporters, and in many cases it's family. Sandi
now trying to clean this up. 12 count. Slim lead in this match through 4 frames.
Interesting beginning to the game as she has the open here in 4 for a 74 count. So up by 10. And Tracy Pardy. It opens the door a little bit. Just needs to string something together.
And Sandi's going to have to make an adjustment here. 2 head pins, left corner, only 1 strike in these first 4 frames. So small adjustment. Great shot that time. Left hand pocket. The ball's backing up into the pocket. She gets great reaction. There was just no doubt this is a strike. In between third arrow and center arrow. Ball backed up on Tracy. Just not sure about this hand position and the way she's coming out of it. She's not getting as much hook as she's used to. You can see the ball, it's almost rolling end over end instead of side to side movement. So that's why she's not getting any movement right to left on the lane surface like she should be.
Tracy is a cardiology technologist, and again she checks her slide as if it was just stuck a little bit, as we welcome Tracy's dad Gary.
Sandi Anderson with the lead through 5 frames. 1 pin plus the strike up in the 5th.
Tracy Pardy with just the 1 mark so far. Come on, keep going. No, not in time before the gate came down. She doesn't overpower anything, does she?
No, she's hit the head pin 4 times out of these first 6 frames. Just nothing really flush. She's left a couple of left corner pins now. This is her third. Finally makes a spare and 1 head pin, so she's got to make a little adjustment to try and get strikes.
Expect.
No screen from Sandi. You knew she missed the target right off the bat. And when you're throwing a backup and you miss your target to the right, you got no chance to get to the pocket. Good cover though on the outside, the tougher way to do it. Good rotation on the ball. Catches the head pin on the outside. Sandi Anderson now 7th frame. Chance to increase her lead. Thin in the right-hand pocket that time. Second left corner of the match. Both of them on this lane 33, the left-hand lane.
Very nice.
Asked for it to hang on. She was just a little bit wide, but again, with that backup, the ball came back to the corner pin. Tracy now got to make an adjustment, get something happening here. Third time in 7 frames, Tracy's missed the head pin. On the inside. Oh, it's got a bit of a break there, Vic. Watch this reaction. Again, the ball's not a lot of movement. It's more end over end, and she got that flush. The 3-pin actually took out the corner pin.
But at least she has something to build on here. She got a couple of marks, a couple of spares back to back.
It's down 40 halfway through this match, so she's got to have some strikes like that to get back into this match.
And it's the first of the game for Tracy Pardy.
Just inside the 3rd arrow. That time the ball actually did start to hook. 8th frame. Great time for a strike. Solid shot from Sandi Anderson. Right hand pocket, no question that was going to be a strike. Overthrew that one a little bit. More loft, more speed.
Sandi, who bowls out of the park alleys and the Rossmere lanes in Winnipeg. Career high 420. Her league average 254. Has the potential here of a 267.
A little bit of a stick there again on that lane. Sandi covered that spare on the inside with the backup. What happens? Well, it happened very late, that stick. She'd already got rid of the ball. Pretty good lead here through 8 frames for Sandi Anderson. Tracy now up in the 9th and 10th frames. Needs to go all the way out. Better shot.
It's not over. May have come a little too late, but the pressure is on now. Tracy Pardy with 4 marks and strikes back to back, so the pin count it will help her here.
And she's got a chance for a 259. Sandi with a possible 267. But Tracy finishing first. If she can go all the way out,
Look at this.
She'll put some pressure back on Sandi Anderson. These last 3 or 4 balls that Tracy's thrown, she's been more aggressive.
You know, we talked about the Youth Bowling Council and youth play. She's a former champion of the old TSN Youth Classic.
That was a great deal for the youth of Canada. They actually got scholarship money out of that, and it gave them some exposure and some experience on TV.
So her potential now is 239. She needs, though, to get everything she can here.
What she's forced Sandi into is now getting a mark in the 10th frame. With the spare, she'll finish with 239.
Oops. And enough.
A little stick again.
Little stick and lean as she manages to get the spare. So what a great finish for her, because really through 5 she had shown nothing. And then she had 3 strikes, 2 spares in the last 5.
Just aggressive. Sandi just has to avoid a split here. She can make any spare and still win this match. On the side, great shot. All she needs is 1 pin in the next 2 balls to win this match. Stay behind the foul line. Keep the ball on the lanes.
Yeah, maybe you don't even want to take a step. Just throw it from here. But getting a little bit pressure. I don't think she would have expected that, considering the way Tracy started out. And last year's runner-up will advance.
The first ball in the 10th was the absolute crucial one, and she just made a great shot on the side.
.255 for Sandi Anderson. Last year's runner-up in women's 5-pin play. We'll try to take that extra step as she beats Tracy Pardy from Corner Brook, Newfoundland. So now Sandi waits to see who she'll meet. We'll watch Helene Godmaire.
Shot. Well done by Bonnie. A little bit of a backup, a left-hand pocket. Drove the head pin through the right side of the 3-pin and the corner pin. Gives her the lead in the match again through 5. Ouch. That'll stop a streak faster than anything. This will be Bonnie's second open frame out of the first 6. Well, she gets a good count back on the strike in 5. It's her 25-pin lead through 5 frames.
Bonnie gets her 15. Now you're talking about deliveries and the difference. One more upright one who really does the deep knee bend. Have a like look here.
Little difference in the height. Bonnie's a little bit taller and she stands more upright. And you can see the release point is a lot higher off the ground. It's just a different trajectory. Helene's got a little deeper knee bend. The trajectory on the ball's closer to the lane surface. Neither one right or wrong, good or bad, as long as you do it consistently.
Well, the key for Helene, who gets down that much, it would seem to me you can't pull up. And the minute you pull up too soon, then she's in trouble.
That's right. If she stands up early, it's going to change her arm swing and the trajectory of the ball. It'll change the location very quickly.
I mean, interesting to see now. Tell me, she gets 3 immediately. Now, does the string get the corner? It looks like it does before we see the...
So that'll count. She'll be left with just the 3-pin to shoot for this spare.
And she has it.
Dead on it.
So taking advantage of the open by Bonnie Olson here in 6. She puts up a strike and a spare, Godmaire. Now it's Olson in 7.
With a 10-pin lead. And 4 frames left. A little bit of a force right on the nose. That's her second head pin this match. 2 in a row now. So again, bowling's all about offense. It's not really defensive, but the better you're playing, the more pressure you put back on your opponent.
But doing well, as we've suggested in previous weeks, you have to, as the psychologists say, you park the head pin. You would have loved to have the strike. But you can't forget about what's still out there and what you still have to do. That's a bit of a bad break. Not quite enough, so she'll score the 13. But it's 2 opens in a row. And 166 through 7 for Bonnie Olson.
Talk about making adjustments. You punch a head pin. Do you want to make an adjustment, or did you just... It's all about sort of self-assessment. Did I make a bad shot? Was that too fast, too slow? Don't make any major changes just because you punch one head pin.
There's nothing... I would agree she doesn't have to make any kind of major adjustment. I mean, her game is not so bad.
Oh, no.
Right?
No, she's hitting the head pin. It's just about, carry.
Right.
We talked last week about Renee Laframboise. How many strikes she got? 6 out of 8 in both of her games. She was carrying incredibly well. That's all speed and rotation. Bonnie throws the ball just a little bit differently. Not as hard, not as much power, not as much rotation. So she's got to be extremely accurate in order to get strikes.
Good cover to get 15, but that is 3 opens in a row. And you can see a little bit of momentum here for Godmaire. The strike, the spare, and another strike.
Great shot that
it's turning around here for Godmaire.
Seen Helene many times over the years, and one of the things that always impressed me, when she got on a roll, she could throw as many or more strikes in a row than anybody I've ever seen. A little bit thick. Wondering why that didn't carry, but drove the head pin straight back.
But able now still to keep some pin count going if she can spare here.
And this is spareable. Helene's sort of only blemish was the right corner pin she missed in the 5th frame.
And you can see here, look at how it turned around. Look at 5, what it was 138, 113. Then 3 opens for Olson, really gets her nothing. Strike, spare, strike up. And so if, Godmaire here can pick up a spare, she'll lead by as many as 14.
On the side.
There it is.
And does. Good spare. Now Helene gets to sit down. Bonnie Olson will finish the 9th and 10th frames. She's 22 pins down with a possible 271.
That's better. And she desperately needed that.
That's a great shot. She's had 4 strikes this game. 3 of them have come on that right-hand lane. And this is an excellent shot. A little bit of ball movement into the right-hand pocket. She was leaning into that one, missed it a little bit right. Thin on the head pin, leaves herself the left corner. Good cover. Still got a chance here. Helene's going to need a good count on her first ball in the 10th frame and a spare to win the match. Now that changes things just a little bit. Bonnie Olson with a 231.
As we see her dad at 10, her boyfriend Sean McDonald. But they're going to need some help here. The potential is for 278 for Helene Godmaire.
And really all she's got to do is hit pins on every one of her 3 balls and she'll win this match.
Oops, a little tap and the right corner won't go.
And that's enough to win.
It is. Right now sitting at 244. You know, it just, I go back to what you said, and it's, you like to see that in athletes, because she's been around the head pin, but she had a couple of opens in 2 and 5, nothing there really to be confident about. It wasn't, then she sort of just turned up the dial a little bit, and look at the way she finishes. Strike, spare, and a 5 out for a 251. Just a nice performance. So Helene Godmaire will advance. Just sort of nodded to see that this could be a very, very good game when you've got the talent of Sandi Anderson and an Helene Godmaire.
Talent and experience. Pressure's not going to bother these 2 ladies. Been here before, played this game a lot. Absolutely both of them focused.
Oh.
Little stick at the foul line, but still Sandi got rid of that ball in great shape. Got good rotation on it.
Very nice, ladies. Good start.
A nice reply from Helene. Pretty solid in that first game. 10 for 11 on the middle. 4 strikes, 2 out of 3 on her right corner pin. She left. She's zoned in. Both of those first 2 shots she made, exact same location, speed, and rotation.
Goodness.
Wow.
Well, it's the kind of start you would expect from 2 very experienced bowlers in Sandi Anderson of Winnipeg and Helene Godmaire from Gatineau, both of them with strikes up through the first 2 frames. The winner to become our 3rd semi-finalist in the women's 5-pin play of this year's Canadian Bowling Championship, and then just misses the head pin.
Just a little bit to the right that time, and with the backup, of course, the ball's not going to come back. Sandi will try and get this one on the inside between the head pin and the remaining 3-pin on the left-hand side. Look out. And that's what can happen when you're on the outside. You just catch a little piece of that head pin. It's easy to chop it.
When you watch her delivery, she has a habit of bringing her hand up and across her her face. Now there, she went straight out. Does she on earlier that second ball of hers actually, is she trying to put some spin on it?
No, where your hand is direct relation to where your backswing went. Okay. So if you start your backswing on the wrong swing plane, if you like, then your follow-through is going to be out of whack as well. And Helene follows suit. Misses to the right. With a backup, good cover by Helene, and advantage early in this match.
Yeah, very nice to keep some pin count going with the 2 strikes followed by the spare. So up by 5 through 2 and a spare up in the 3rd. She bowls at a couple of, or 3 actually, different bowling centers in the Gatineau and Hull area. Interesting, I've seen that too, Bill, you know, over the years, that if you're going to play a lot and play at the elite level as these ladies are, or men, for example, isn't it indeed better to try and play as many centers as you can just because of the conditions?
Absolutely. Conditions are different. The atmosphere is different. You go from a small 12-lane bowling center to a large 24, 36. The whole atmosphere changes. Even the competition you play in, the style of leagues you play in is important. Do you go from a men's or a mixed league to a ladies league, travel leagues, all those things. The more you can play and the more different experiences you get, the better off you'll be in the long run.
Well, that's a nice rebound for Sandi Anderson after the open in 3.
Let's watch her follow through this time. Dead solid, right up beside her right ear on the release point. That one a little bit
different, yeah.
A little bit different.
That?
Yeah, it was in front of her eyes that time.
Yeah.
So watch where her backswing goes. It's hard to tell from that angle, but
she dropped it down maybe a little bit.
Just change the swing plane a little bit. First set of aces we've seen in 3 weeks this year. Well, gave it a little bit of a run. Seen that spared over the years on television. It's probably the toughest one in the book.
Oh, very nice.
Picks up 15. Quite a difference in the number of games they play. Sandi with 20 a week and Helene with only 7. Of course, we don't know how much they practice
right
on the side, if you like, outside of normal league play.
And it's difficult too, with all kinds of family commitments, and as I often say, life gets in the way. But some communities only will have one bowling center. But if you're going to make that commitment, you might just have to pick up and drive to another town just to play in a different situation.
Well, like Helene does between Hull and Templeton, and I'm not sure how far apart they are, but she is making a commitment, going out of her way to bowl in 2 different bowling centers.
So her first open for Godmaire comes in 5, and she trails by 2.
And again, 9 pins there. With the additional 6 she left on the pin deck, she'd actually have a 4-pin lead in this match. Ouch, 2 in a row.
Okay, now.
Both of those forced, maybe?
Come back to what we were talking about earlier. Making adjustments. Is this something that she should panic over? I mean, panic is too strong here, but do you make an adjustment? And again, you're missing the 3-pin.
I think I would be making an adjustment. And for Helene, with the amount of movement she gets because of the rotation, she may move up just a quarter of a step, and all it does is change where the bowling ball breaks on the lane. She may move side to side. That's all a really
Again, now
personal
more,
thing.
pardon me for interrupting, but
No.
now there's more pins left on the deck, right? This hurts.
She's left 11 pins in the last 2 frames. Now Sandi with a big break. Left-hand pocket that time. But great reaction. Follow through. Little bit closer to that right ear that time. No doubt.
The opportunity here for somebody like Anderson, and give them credit, seizes the moment. It's one thing to see it. Now you have to do it. Now can she put 2 together? Not quite.
Confidence. She threw that last ball in the 6th frame. Great position, great reaction. So that tells her do it again. She's got 4 strikes in this game out of the first 7 frames, so she really hasn't made a lot of mistakes. Set of aces, only missed the middle once. And good cover on that right corner pin.
So a strike and spare up for Anderson, and really Godmaire, after the 2 opens, after a very nice start, opens in 5 and 6, needs to get something going here.
But sort of the precursor to that in the 3rd frame.
Very nice. What a great kick.
Big break. I was going to say in the 3rd frame, Helene missed the head pin to the right. Then she came back and missed it again. Much better reaction. Left-hand pocket, 3-pin off the wall, takes out the corner pin.
Yeah.
So you miss 2 in a row. Then maybe you make an adjustment or force the ball, punch 2 head pins. Comes back with 1 good shot here in the 7th, and now misses to the left.
But still a chance here. I mean, a spare would keep some momentum going.
Boy, that's a big open frame here in the 8th. She's really left this wide open for Sandi Anderson now.
Anderson, last year's runner-up to Michelle Johnstone. Johnstone is eliminated, so we will have a new champion this year. That's a killer for Godmaire.
Well, again, not only the missing the head pin, but the number of pins she's left on the pin deck. Wow. Give it back to her.
Yeah. You know, there's that old thing about water finding its lowest level here. You watch what your opponent does, and then somehow that takes the edge off you.
It can have that effect. Absolutely. Sandi Anderson, she can pick up the other 5 here. She'll go into the 9th frame with a 22-pin lead. Not insurmountable.
Nicely done. So as we go to the 9th, pardon me, it's a 22-point game with 2 frames to play. Anderson leading.
You notice her there, a quick glance over at the studio scoreboard. She knows exactly what she's got left, what she needs to be able to shut Helene Godmaire out of this match. And that's a good start down that road.
Wow. Did she sweat over that one a little bit?
She threw it great. She gets the ball out on the lane. Good follow through. A little bit more in the middle of her body, and the ball went
it came back just late because it looked fat going in, and it just made that move to the right, didn't it?
A little bit of movement at the end.
And I tell you what, that was as thin as they're going to come.
Good shot, though. You know, and she's close to the head pin. She's got rotation on it. Good angle to see Helene's nice straight arm swing in through her backswing.
Now here's the opportunity for her. She'll finish first. Both bowlers are straight up, and that'll be it.
Missed that one right off the bat. As soon as it left her hand, it was wide right.
That really hurts.
She has to have the spare here and come back with a strike to be able to finish at 219.
There it is. Now, is that first ball, is that a result of just her turning the ball? Is that a wrist deal with her, do you think?
Can be a bunch of things. Can be just a little bit out in the backswing. So when you release the ball, you're off target by just one board.
Yeah, and now she comes back the other way.
That's probably the force. Miss it right, force it back left on the second one.
So a 207 for Godmaire as we have another look here. Just trying maybe to do too much.
Trying to force it back to the pocket. Sandi needs 27 pins to win this match.
Oh no. Oh no.
This makes things a little bit tighter. She's working on a strike. She's got to guard against throwing it through the hole. Oh, that's a great shot.
What a wonderful shot.
Two things. She kept it on the inside because she knew she needed the pin count. But not only that, she makes the spare. Little backup on the inside. At the very worst, she was going to count 28 on that strike in the 9th frame, which would be enough for the win.
Big finish. Wow, she's going to count 13 for a 239. Sandi Anderson, last year's runner-up, will become our 3rd semifinalist. 239-207 as she beats Helene Godmaire. We expected a good match, and we saw it here.